build a big bonfire out on the lake. And you call us stupid in the South. But I got to thinking about that ice fishing, especially from the point of view of the fish that gets caught and then thrown back. Think about it. In the animal kingdom, that has got to be the closest thing to one of those out-of-body experiences. That fish that gets thrown back, he goes back and he tells his buddies, he's like, dudes, I was just swimming along, and all of a sudden I felt myself being drawn towards the light. And it was getting brighter and brighter, and then I went through this opening, and I saw my dead relatives all around me. And I saw God. He was wearing a flannel shirt and a Budweiser hat. And he held me and said, it's not yet your time, go back. And that's been one of the cool things about doing this tour is because we've been everywhere in the country. You know, and traveling, it's never a lot of fun, but since 9/11, it's so much more difficult. In the Atlanta airport, I live in Atlanta, in the Atlanta airport, you know where you go through the metal detectors? They have now built a giant plexiglass box that contains all the things that are no longer allowed in your carry-on luggage. And in that box, there is a leaf blower and a Coleman lantern. So if you are an international yard man that likes to work nights, you are SOL right now. A leaf blower. Who is hijacking a plane with a leaf blower? You turn the plane around and mess your hair up so bad your mother never recognized you. If your job requires you use a leaf blower and you have to get on an airplane to get to that job, it is really time to review your territory. You see a lot of things in airports. You know, they tell us now the economy's bad. You see it in the airports. Because everywhere we go now, all the rental car places are selling the used rental cars. And I have driven some bad vehicles in my life. I have never been so desperate for an automobile, I wanted a used rental car. Because you know what people do to rental cars. My mother will not drive 55 miles an hour. You put her in a rental car, she's doing donuts in the grocery store parking lot. Buying a used rental car is kind of like going to a house of ill repute looking for a wife. Anything that's been driven that hard by that many people, you really don't want to put your key in it. Well, there's no incentive to take care of a rental car because if you pay the extra insurance, you can total that rental car and they'll bring you another one. And I recommend always get the additional insurance. They're like, Mr. Foxworthy, would you like the additional coverage? I'm like, yes, I would. Because you got a Ford Fiesta that's about to see more airtime than a skateboard at the X Games. So welcome to our job. You know, we talk about this all the time. We feel like we have the coolest job in the world. And it's funny because, you know, like tonight, you get to meet a lot of people backstage. When you're a comedian, the number one thing people say to you when they meet you, they're like, where do you come up with material? And the honest answer, I think at least for us, is the best stuff is not stuff you make up. It's true stuff. Now, that being said, I have to share this story with you. Last year, I was hosting a show for the Children's Hospital in Atlanta, and a couple came up to me, and the man said to me, hey, I bet you done heard of a redneck thing. And I was thinking, well, I've heard a lot of them, but I love talking to folks. I said, no, go ahead. He said, my wife and I decided if we ever had the chance to meet you that we had to tell you about the time we were down at her family's house, and while we were there, her brother got his nipple bitten off by a beaver. I said, you have my attention. Because it's kind of hard to walk away from a story like that. You're almost required to say, how did that happen? Oh, and they were happy to share the whole tale. Apparently, the brother and his buddy were driving down the road, and a beaver ran across the street, and they accidentally hit it with a truck, and then the beaver went down into the ditch on the side of the road, so they decided they were going down in the ditch to find this thing because they wanted to take it to the taxidermist, because we all know how pretty they look on a Thanksgiving dining room table just holding that turkey up. So he said he went down in the ditch, he found the beaver, he picked it up by the tail, and he said, look at it. It ain't cut up or bloody or nothing. And apparently, nothing is the word that brings a beaver back to consciousness. And at that point, the animal lurched out and bit his nipple off. Did not bite it, bit it off. O-F-F off, bit it off. That is a new kind of hurt right there. And it is so rare, I am at a loss for words. The only reply I could come up with, I said, I bet that is the only time in history the headline of the paper could include the words beaver and nipple and nobody'd be offended by it. That's the other question I get asked. People always say, well, when you say somebody might be a redneck, what do you mean? All right, for the record, my definition of redneck, it is a glorious absence of sophistication. That's all it is. And it can be full-time or part-time. Most of us are guilty of it. And if you're not guilty of it, you do have relatives that are. Think back to the last family reunion you went to when at the end of it you got in the car and looked at your spouse and said, oh my God. What is wrong with them? The little one is not right. I guarantee you, the little one is not right. Oh, and trust me, I got rednecks in my family. I got an uncle, every time he gets in and out of the car, he climbs in through the driver's side window. The door's not broke or anything, he just likes to pretend he's a NASCAR driver. Got a few NASCAR fans in Phoenix, huh? I love NASCAR. I will tell you this, it's a difficult thing to talk about on stage because NASCAR fans will start fighting with each other. They do, because every NASCAR fan's got that one driver they love and every NASCAR fan's got that one driver they can't stand. And Jeff Gordon, it's always Jeff Gordon. You know what? I figured out why a lot of NASCAR fans don't like Jeff Gordon. And it's not because Gordon won the points championship last year, because he wins a lot of races. A lot of NASCAR fans don't like Jeff Gordon because Jeff Gordon enunciates. And there's not a place in NASCAR for that kind of stuff. See, true NASCAR fans want an interview with the driver where you have no idea what he's talking about. Boy, I tell you, we run pretty good all day long and did develop a little bit of a push early in the race, brought her in, Booger Jackson wedge in, and she run like a spotted butt ape after that. Had some real good pit stop, special explanation, go there towards the end. Did get a little trouble in the middle of the race, and Ricky puked the motor. I got in his oil. I touched Dale there on the backside, but for the most part, the Hardee's, Burger King, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Chevrolet, she just awesome. As Southern as I am, I'm like, dude, what? Were there any words in that? Speaking of words, I do have a few new redneck words for you. First one, mayonnaise. Mayonnaise, a lot of people here this evening. It's kind of a gift. They come to me in my sleep, I write them down. Brand new one, aorta. Aorta, cut that grass down by the ball field so that the kids don't get hurt. It's just not the stupidest thing you've ever heard in your life. Initiate. My wife ate 2 hamburgers. Initiate a bag of potato chips. And last but not least, which did you? Which did you? Oh, you didn't bring your truck with you, did you? Somebody will be using which did you tomorrow. And I always felt like you couldn't talk about rednecks unless you are one, and I are one. You know what? Growing up, I didn't know that's what I was, and now looking back, it was oh so obvious. No, I'm not making this up. My entire childhood, our mailbox in front of our house had the letters M-A-L-E painted on the side of it. And By the time I was in the 11th grade, I was like, that ain't right. That M's supposed to be capitalized, isn't it? That is a true story. When I was in the 3rd grade, my uncle did that as a joke, and nobody got it. And not only am I a redneck, I'm married into them too. Married into a special breed of them. My wife and her entire family are from the great state of Louisiana. We were down there about 6 or 7 months ago. My wife's cousin got married down in Baton Rouge, so we went down for the wedding, and we had my wife's entire family together for the rehearsal dinner at Hooters. If I'm lying, I'm dying. And our waitress that night was qualified to work there. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure she was on a scholarship. But the first time she walked up to the table, my wife's Uncle Bud looked at her and went, woo, woo, where'd you get them things, girl? I thought, oh, she's gonna get mad. And she didn't, she was so cool. She said, I bought them. And then Bud's wife, Lois, said, you know, I've been thinking about buying me some. And Bud turned to Lois and said, you are 62 years old. You getting a boob job would be like hanging a new chandelier in a haunted house. She said, well, I figured if I put some new lights in the house, you might stay in it longer than 2 minutes. My children share these genes. And I will say this in defense of my in-laws. My in-laws are nuts. But I know why they're nuts. It's because a long time ago in their lives, they looked at each other and they said, hey, why don't we have children? And I know I'm on my way to being crazy just like my in-laws because I'm a parent. I'm the proud father of 2 little girls. Their ages are 8 and 10. Thank you. I live next door to my brother. He has 3 children. They are all girls. Their ages are 6, 8, and 10. My mother has 9 grandchildren. They are all girls. The oldest one is 13 years old. I live in the Estrogen Ocean, in the middle of the naked Barbie Woodstock. Naked Barbies as far as the eye can see. There are days I have fantasies about being G.I. Joe on a 3-day pass. Hello, lady. But I love these girls, and I have learned so much about girls. I'll tell you something I've learned. I've learned girls can be a little bit more emotional than boys. Yo, I spent half my life trying to figure out what people are crying about. Like, honey, calm down and just tell me what happened. Well, I came in and I was going to go upstairs and play with them, but then they locked the door and they called me a stupid head and they said I couldn't be in their club and I was looking for you and I was calling you and calling you. I'm like, honey, calm down. You're going to scare the children. Now just tell me what happened. Men have no idea what to do with crying because men have been taught all our lives not to cry. That's why when we grow up, we can be out cutting firewood with our buddies. We'll take that chainsaw, saw our leg off at the knee. We're like, I'm all right. Throw the leg in the cooler, hand me a beer, I'm all right. And kids are great for a comedian because kids are funny without even trying to be funny. My wife and my mother-in-law had ordered bathing suits through the mail order, yeah. So the bathing suits arrived. They're trying them on. My mother-in-law walks out in her bathing suit. My youngest daughter looked at her and said, Gamma, you shouldn't draw on your legs with a blue magic marker. Needless to say, I had to mop up the milk I had been drinking because it was on the other side of the room.